Good evening, friends, and welcome to Akulmach Mental Gym. This program has been designed in order to keep all the participants' brain working at critical level. This is a live stream. We will actually give you a bunch of questions. You're supposed to respond to them correctly in the shortest period of time. The advantage of participating in Meth Gym is you can actually sharpen your memory. You can actually prepare yourself for competitive exams. There are a lot of questions which are not covered in the mainstream course material. We cover them here. So and we come with you every day live between 5 and 6, and we actually post these questions for you. So without further ado, let us go to the main quiz, live quiz, and we expect you to answer the questions that we put in front of you. Let us proceed. All right, so we have a few viewers right now, and as you can see, the clock is ticking. And the first question is, in the year 1492, the famous, the legendary Christopher Columbus sighted the island in the New World. He traveled from Portugal, Italy, Spain, and Portugal to basically find the New World, basically India. He eventually ended up finding the new land across the pond. And, through that journey into the unknown, for the very first time on October 19th, in the year 1492, Columbus sighted the land. The question is, please name the island which he sighted on October 19th, 1492. You have about 30 seconds. So I'm waiting for your answers. In the year 1492, Christopher Columbus traveled across the Atlantic and reached the land and sighted an island in the New World. What is the name of this island? All right, so we don't have a lot of time here. We like to ensure that minimum time is spent, because after all, this exercise is all about improving critical thinking. So let's proceed to the uh, answer, and I'm seeing that if there are any answers. So right now there are no answers as of now. So let us proceed to the answer. The answer is the island which was found by Christopher Columbus on October 19th was named Isabella. And today, the same island are known as Fortune Island in Bahamas. Well, Isabella is the basically he named this island Isabella because the Queen of Spain funded his journey, and her name was Isabella. So, in order to honor the first land sighted by Columbus across the pond was named as Isabella. All right, so edify learning, actually this is not Hawaii, because Hawaii is in Pacific, and Christopher Columbus actually crossed the Atlantic Ocean. All right, let's move to the next question. In the year 1722, who invent the automatic fire extinguisher? A major a major invention, because back in the days when there was fire, it was very difficult to stop the fire. So in the year 1722, who invented the automatic fire extinguisher? Automatic fire extinguisher is the answer, because we see those devices on the roof whenever we walk into any large scale building anywhere in the world. We see these automatic fire extinguisher, but then there was a first time for this, and this was invented in the 1722. I would like to know the name of the person, name of the inventor who actually built the world first automatic fire extinguisher. That's a question. Time is ticking, friends. Time is ticking. The quickness in this program is the key. If you answer quickly, you tend to gain critical thinking, and quicker you are, better it is for you. And the whole idea of mental gym is to ensure that whoever watches, the memory is enhanced, and prepare yourself for the competitive exams. So this question is, in the year 1722, who invented the uh, automatic fire extinguisher? So Edify Learning has made an attempt. Let us see if this is the right answer. Unfortunately, Edify Learning, Ambrose Godfrey is not the right answer. The right answer is a Frenchman by the name C. Hoffer. And this invention was carried out in France. And C. Hoffer has been given a patent for automatic fire extinguisher. All right. Edify Learning, you actually made a good attempt, but then there are several questions. We have to answer each question quickly. Let's move on to the next one. In the year 1781, British forces signs a term of surrender to the George Washington forces under the which British general? Basically, October 19th is an important day for the USA, because USA became independent of the British era, British rule, and the British forces surrendered today on October 19th in the year 1781. The question is, who was a general who surrendered to George Washington? Very specific question, and it should be a simple answer, because this is a major event in the world geopolitics. In the 1781, on October 19th, under which command the British forces surrendered to George Washington forces, and thus cleared the route of forming the United States of America? Should be an easy answer. Quickly, friends, we need to get this response very quickly. It's a very simple question. In the year 1781, the British forces surrendered to George Washington forces during a long struggle of American Revolution, and finally the George Washington forces won, British surrendered. The question is, under whose leadership, which general the British forces surrendered to George Washington? Absolutely right, Edify Learning. This time you're right. And as I said, this was an easy answer. Absolutely. General Charles Cornwallis, that's the name. He was a general of the British Armada, which lost the battle, and Charles Cromwell and his force surrendered to George Washington. And this is an important day in our history, because that formed the foundation of United States of America. Let's quickly move to the next question. In the year 1879, which Afghan ruler was forced to resign by the British? So this is in the neighborhood, because we know that the British had major rule back in the days. They were ruling India as well as all the neighboring land, including Afghanistan. So in the year 1879, a very strong ruler of Afghanistan was forced to resign from his position as a king by the British. Again, should be easy answer, because this is in the neighborhood, and this is related to British Raj, as we call it in India. British rulers or British officers forced this Afghan ruler to resign from his position as a king in the year 1879 on October 19th. Should be easy answer. Friends, get a crack on this, because speed is everything. If you answer quickly, your critical thinking will improve, and that is why we are here every day live with you. All right, I will repeat the question once again. In the year 1879, which Afghan ruler or the king was forced to resign by the British on October 19th? All right, let's move to the answer, because speed is everything in our quiz show. The answer is Amir Muhammad Yaqub. He was the ruler of Afghanistan, but then British officers or the British Raj officers forced him to resign. Uh, there are a lot of things, a lot of history behind it, but then we are limited to the questions because our aim is to improve the critical thinking and also prepare the aspirant for the competitive exams. Okay, let's move to the next question quickly. In the year 1901, who proves that airship airship is a huge flying machine are maneuverable by circling the Eiffel Tower. So 1901, a pilot took a challenge and he wanted to prove that airships are highly maneuverable, and he demonstrated this by circling the Eiffel Tower. This would have been in the 1901 amazing feat of piloting a huge flying object like airship. So the question is, in 1901, which daredevil pilot maneuvered the big airship around the Eiffel Tower, proving that the airships are highly maneuverable? All right, friends. So, as I said, speed is everything. I will move quickly to the answer. The name of the gentleman is Santos Dumont, a French pilot who took the challenge of proving that the airships, even though they are very large, but they are highly maneuverable, and he actually maneuvered around the Eiffel Tower. So therefore, this is a great piloting in the year 1901. Let's quickly move on to the next question. In the year 1904, what is the name of the Polytechnic University of Philippines, founded through American superintendents? The name is C.A. O'Reilly. So basically, an American senior officer with the name C.A. O'Reilly played a major role in building the Polytechnic University in Philippines. I want to know the name of this university. 1904, October 19th, with the American funding, American will, and American intervention, a polytechnic university was established in Philippines in the year 1904 on October 19th. What is the name of this university? All right, let's move to the answer. Manila Business School. It is such a simple answer. This proves that if you think logically, you will be able to answer. This is a very popular university in Philippines, and it is known as Manila Business School, established in 1904. Let's move to the next question. In the year 1919, name the first U.S. Distinguished Service Medal awardee, and this awardee was the living female recipient for the very first time. Distinguished Service Medal awarded to a living female recipient in the year 1990 in the United States. The first Distinguished Service Medal awarded to a living female. The name of this gallant woman is the question. In the year 1990, please tell us the name of the first living woman to be awarded US Distinguished Services Medal. All right, let's move to the answer. The answer is the Anna Howard Shaw. She was the first woman living to be awarded the Distinguished Service Medal of United States on October 19th in the year 1919, after the First World War had ended. Let's now move on to the next question. In the year 1926, who invented the world's first semi-automatic rifle? In the year 1926, who invented the world's first semi-automatic rifle? All right, welcome to the show, Tashi Azam. Well, if your answer is related to the previous question, Mary Edward Walker is not the right answer, but it's a good attempt. Try answering this one, which is now getting displayed on the screen. In the year 1926, who invented the world first semi-automatic rifle? You know, there was single shot rifle, which has been there for almost 100 years at by this time, and there were automatic rifles which were already there, machine guns. In fact, in back in the days they used to call them machine guns, but then an intermediate weapon was required, uh, and this was invented in the year 1926, a semi-automatic rifle. So semi-automatic rifle is basically allow the user to choose between two modes, a single shot, actually three modes. Single shot, semi-automatic means it can fire 3 rounds and then stop, and fully automatic, it will fire all the bullets which are present in the rifle. So semi-automatic rifle was invented in 1926 by who? All right, let's move on to the question, to answer to this question. Very popular name in the arms and ammunition. There are a lot of weapons named behind Garand. So John C. Garand. In fact, there is a rifle known by this name itself, the Garand rifle it is known as. So John C. Garand is the person who invented the world first semi-automatic rifle. All right, let's move to the next question. And friends, you have to think very quickly. You know, you will not get more than 30 seconds or at the most more than a minute to think about this. So please be quick, because the whole objective is to improve critical thinking ability. Your mind has to think quickly. Well, Tashi, this is not the right answer. Anyway, we are moving on to the next question. In the year 1932, which country forbids demonstration by Nazis? The answer is, very melodramatic. If you follow the Second World War, what really went in before the war and after the war. But here, in the year 1932, many years before the war itself, which country forbid demonstration by Nazis? And as you know, Nazi is not a religion, it's the name of a Nationalist Socialist Party of Germany. And in short, it is abbreviated as Nazi. It's a political party. It's not a religion. It's not a cult. It's a political party. But a country forbid the political party to carry any kinds of demonstration in the year 1932. Answer is very interesting. So think logically and give the answer quickly. A country bans Nazis to carry out demonstration in the year 1932, many years before the Nazis started doing bad things to Jew. So think logically, what could have happened that this country itself banned Nazis to carry out any sort of rally or demonstration in their own area in the year 1932, many years before the war itself. All right, let's move to the answer, because as I said, the answer is very melodramatic. The answer is Austria. Well, it is very interesting to note that the Hitler was actually not German, he was Austrian. And when Hitler rose to power and the war broke out in 1938, when the Germany invaded the Poland, the Austria was annexed into Germany without any war. So there was a time when the Austria had decided that they will actually ban Nazis to perform any kind of demonstration in their own country. But when the war broke out, they actually teamed up with Germany, and they carried out the war on rest of the world. All right. Well, edify learning, the Hitler was not Ukrainian. I think you're confused between Stalin. Stalin was Ukrainian. He was born in Kiev, whereas Hitler was born in Austria. He was Austrian. Anyway, good attempt by all of you. Let's move on to the next question. In the year 1932, which big business personality gave his first radio speech? Now, this is an important incident because today we like to come in front of the camera on a television interview, etc. But back in the days, during the 1932, radio was a big thing. People used to switch on the radio, sit around and listen to all kinds of speeches and announcements and entertainment. And radio was basically what the TV is today. Radio was part of the dining room arena. So therefore, in 1932, which big business personality gave his first radio speech in the year 1932? Big business personality. So these are three critical words. Think, big business personality. The fourth critical word is radio speech. In the year 1932, it was a big deal because this big business personality was already very famous, and this big business personality was basically already proven the metal and was already recognized globally. All right, let's move to the answer. It is Henry Ford. Henry Ford, started building cars in the during the first decade of 1900. The first popular car was released in 1905, and Henry Ford changed the face of the industry as we know it today, because Henry Ford came up with the building block idea, where there are two things Henry Ford introduced to the industry. One is that everything can be built quickly, and there was a time when the Ford motors were rolling out one car every half an hour. That reduced the cost substantially. And second thing is the employee-friendly policies. In fact, Henry Ford introduced the 5 working week back in the days, and now we follow all that because he believed that you have to give enough mental and physical rest to the workforce. So Henry Ford was very popular. He changed the industry, the face of the industrial revolution completely, a single-handed man. So he was a big man, and his interview was taken in the year 1932. So therefore, it's a major event. All right, let's move to the next question quickly. In the year 1933, the Berlin Olympic Committee voted to introduce a new American sport during the 1936 Olympic Games. What was that game? The question is, during 1933, the Berlin Olympic Committee decided to introduce a new American sport in the Olympic Games, which were supposed to be held in 1936. You should be able to guess the name of this sport. American sport introduced for the first time in Olympic in the year 1936. What is the name of this sport? All right, let's move to the answer of this question. It's basketball. It's such a simple answer because the American sport introduced in Olympic, it's basketball, because that is the sort of national game which every American likes to play, and this was introduced for the first time in the Olympics in the year 1936, but decision was taken on October 19th in the year 1933. Moving on to the next question. Year 1936, which reporter beat 2 other reporters in a race around the world on a commercial flight by 18.5 days? Remember, friends, this is 1936. This is 1936, where the around the world trip used to take many days, even in an aeroplane, because aeroplanes were not jet powered. They were very slow, and they need to get down on the ground for refueling, and basically they cannot fly for a very long time. So in the year 1936, there was a race organized to go around the world using aeroplanes, and there was one reporter who actually beats 2 other fellow reporters in this race, basically flying in commercial flights by 18.5 days, by huge margin. What is the name of this reporter? Well, let's move to the answer. Uh, H.R. Ekins is the name of this reporter, and this reporter used to work for New York World Telegram. And he created a buzz because he was able to beat other two reporters going around the world in commercial flights. All right, friends, let's move to the next question. In the year 1943, please name the first antibiotic for tuberculosis, which was isolated by researchers at Rutgers University at Piscataway, New Jersey. The first remedy for tuberculosis infection, an antibiotic. What was the name of this antibiotic? Come on, friends, think quickly. This is very simple answer. These are all very simple questions. Name of the antibiotic which was isolated or introduced as a cure for tuberculosis in the year 1943 on October 19th. Think fast, friends, because you need only 30 seconds to reply. Name of the antibiotic which was isolated for the first time as the first remedy for tuberculosis in the year 1943. All right, let's move to the answer. It is streptomycin. Such a simple answer. We know this antibiotic which is sold off the shelf nowadays, especially in India. Streptomycin is the first antibiotic which was released in 1943 as a cure for tuberculosis, because before that there was no medicine for tuberculosis. If you had contracted tuberculosis, all you could do is travel to area where there is more oxygen, cleaner air. There was no cure before this medicine was introduced. So that is why this is a very big deal and important event in our history. Let's move to the next one. All right, so we know that during the Second World War there was a war declared by all the countries on each other, but the war ended in 1945. But in the year 1951, which US president formally ended the state of war with Germany? So to declare that we are no longer fighting Germany, it took another 6 years. The decision by United States was taken in the year 1951. The question is, which president formally ends the state of war with Germany? Simple questions, friends. The whole idea is to improve your critical thinking. So think quickly, because these questions are definitely going to come in your competitive exams, and if you think quicker, then you can actually prepare yourself. You can fine tune your brain to think, very rapidly. 1951, which president formally ends the state of war with Germany? All right, let's move to the answer. President Harry Truman. President Harry Truman is historic because after the war, Truman is responsible for many vital decisions which actually propelled America forward toward progress. So Harry Truman had a huge contribution to American history and American politics. So President Harry Truman ended the state of war with Germany in the year 1951. Let's move to the next one. In the year 1967, the Mariner 5 spacecraft makes a flyby of which planet on October 19th? Today is October 19th. Mariner 5 makes a flyby of which planet? These are the questions which is common knowledge, and these are the questions which will help you remember these things. Mariner 5 makes a flyby of which planet on October 19th? Simple question. Even if you try to open a book, you can get it in like 10 seconds. Very simple question. In the year 1967, on October 19th, Mariner 5 makes a flyby of which planet? All right, let's move to the answer. It's Venus, of course. Mariner 5 was designed for, Martian exploration, but then it flew by Venus as a gravity assist maneuver. So on October 19th, it actually fly by Venus. All right, let's move to the next one. In the year 1976, Which US president signs first major revision of copyright law, which was enacted in 1909? And as you know, friends, the copyright law is very, very important. It is absolutely critical, and we who are doing some sort of media or any kind of production, you have to know what is copyright law, even if you are in business. So it is an important law. The first revision of the copyright law was implemented in the US, especially in 1909. But in 1976, a major revision in the copyright law was made, and it was implemented in US and later across the world. This edition of copyright law was signed by a US president in the year 1976 on October 19th. You know, who was this president? The name of this president. All right, let's move to the answer. It's the President Gerald Ford. President Gerald Ford. Again, an important personality in the American arena, political arena. And Gerald Ford is also a national hero for the United States. All right, let's move to the next question quickly. In the year 1977, which supersonic jet makes the first landing in New York City? Supersonic jet. Supersonic jet makes first landing in New York City. So I'd like to also give you a hint that this supersonic jet was a passenger jet, but supersonic. So if you know flight, most of the planes that fly today, like Boeing or all kinds of planes that are that you see in the sky, are not supersonic. So in the year 1977, supersonic passenger jet makes the first landing in New York City. What is the name of this aeroplane? Very simple, even without thinking also you should be able to answer this question. In the year 1977, which supersonic jet makes the first landing in New York City? This supersonic jet was a passenger liner. What is the name of this plane? All right, let's move to the answer. It is Concorde, and Concorde is now subsequently discontinued because the cost of running Concorde was phenomenal, and it used to make a lot of noise as well. There was a lot of noise pollution. However, Concorde had operated for almost more than 20-25 years, and it reduced the flight time from London to New York from 9 hours to just 3 hours. So that was the speed of Concorde. So if you are traveling between Europe and America, you could actually take the flight in the morning and return back home on the same day, just like as if you're taking a train to a close by city. That was the effect of Concorde, and its first time landed in New York City in the year 1977. Now this is the last question of the day, and this is for the cricketing buffs. In the year 1986, which Australian cricketer is attributed to score 1 millionth test cricket run? 1 millionth. That means from the time the cricket started, cricket was introduced as a game to the mankind, the 1 millionth run was scored by this Australian cricketer in the year 1986 in a match which was played against India in Mumbai, which was known as Bombay back in the day. The name of this Australian cricketer who scored a millionth test run of all the test cricket played in the history, 1 millionth run. Okay, so let's move on to the answer, because I think for the cricketing buff this should be very easy. The answer is Alan Border, very, very popular cricketer from Australia, and also a true gentleman, very mild personality, and also captain of Australia. He scored the millionth test run, right, in the year 1986 against India in Bombay. All right, friends, so we have come to an end of our critical thinking improvement quiz. Please join back tomorrow at 5 and we will bring more questions. And if you have any suggestions, comments, please feel free to send in your comments. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me live. I will catch you again tomorrow. Bye bye.